The threat of severe storms returns to Texas this afternoon and again tomorrow. Let's talk about who may be dealing with a lot of hail in this Wednesday edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. Good morning, it's Wednesday, the 8th of May, 2024. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Baldy-in-Chief David Reimer. You made it halfway through the work week. Congratulations on that. It's hump day. But with midweek also comes now the return of thunderstorm chances across the state of Texas. Let's just go ahead and pop on over to the severe weather outlook for this afternoon and evening. A weak cold front in association with a dry line, kind of a 2-in-1 special, will set up across portions of Texoma, North Texas, Central Texas, into portions of the Arklatex, Northeast Texas, maybe parts of the Brazos Valley, late this afternoon through this evening. Now, we're going to be dealing with fairly slow-moving thunderstorms, with the best chance for thunderstorm initiation after 3 to 4 p.m. across Northeast Texas. By dinner time, those thunderstorms may unzip along the cold front dry line farther southwest towards the DFW Metroplex into perhaps southern portions of North Texas and Central Texas. Storms this evening will move southeast slowly. And given the extreme instability amounts expected across the region, along with more than adequate wind shear to support organized thunderstorms, we could be dealing with some gnarly supercells. The potential for the most intense storms today to produce giant hail up to the size of softballs or grapefruits. Localized, damaging straight-line winds of 60 to 80 miles per hour. The tornado risk today is low, but not zero. Because of the extreme amounts of instability in place, even weak low-level wind shear today will support at least a low tornado threat. If we see any enhanced low-level wind shear develop, say if winds at the surface become more southeasterly, the tornado threat would increase a bit. Again, I do think today's most likely hazard will be big hail. Let's just take a look at the high-res rapid refresh model. As we go through the afternoon, you can see thunderstorms developing after about 4 p.m. This model says closer to 6 to 7. Yeah, we'll see. I'm willing to bet it's going to be closer to 4 to 5. You can see those storms slowly move southeast through the mid-evening before dissipating by midnight. Quiet night, quiet morning. On Thursday, then you can see on this model, guess what? We're doing it again tomorrow, too. We'll take a look at that, and then we'll take a look at the severe weather chances for tomorrow. But, hey, here you go. We now have an upgrade for tomorrow's severe weather threat across portions of the Hill Country, North Texas, Central Texas, the Brazos Valley, East Texas, Southeast Texas, into portions of Northeast Texas. Today, we're talking big hail. Tomorrow, we're talking big hail. The potential for storms tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening to produce giant hail up to the size of softballs and grapefruits. Localized damaging winds of 60 to 80 miles an hour. As it stands now, tomorrow's tornado threat looks lower than today comparatively, but still not completely zero. We're going to be dealing with extreme amounts of instability. Now, if there's something good that's going to come out of this, well, and that's going to be the fact most of you aren't going to have softball-sized hail hitting your roofs. The other element is we're not going to be talking about crazy high rain totals out of this either. Clearly, parts of Central Texas, the Brazos Valley, East Texas, Southeast Texas, y'all don't need another drop of rain right now, mostly, given the ongoing flooding of the last 10 to 14 days. You can see, based off this data, we're not expecting widespread thunderstorm development over the next 2 days. That being said, any storms that do develop this afternoon or tomorrow afternoon will pack quite a punch, not only in the hail and wind department, but also with continuous cloud-to-ground lightning. Some of these storms are going to be over 65,000 feet tall, probably. Yes, there will be localized heavy rainfall, but we're not talking widespread heavy rain. Let's just look at the forecast rain totals. This is today through 7 p.m. Saturday. Mostly today and tomorrow. The way it looks now, there will be some rain on Saturday, especially across the western half of the state, but forecast rain totals at this point remain below 1/10 of an inch. For the next few days, we could see maybe 1/2 to 2 inches of rain across portions of the Arklatex, East Texas, maybe back into central Texas and northern Brazos Valley, but notice those higher amounts, 1 to 2 inch totals, are confined generally to portions of East Texas. Now, as we go beyond that, we'll have to take a look at Sunday and Monday. But before we do that, here's the forecast rain the forecast rain totals. And it's about the polar opposite of rain totals, actually. It's the forecast wildfire danger over the next few days from the Texas A&M Forest Service. We continue to anticipate very high to extreme fire danger across portions of the borderland around El Paso, Guadalupe Mounds, the Trans-Pecos, the Davis Mounds, into the Big Bend, into portions of the Permian Basin, West Texas, the Western Texas Panhandle, kind of into the Concho Valley and the Edwards Plateau, both today and Thursday. Friday, things look like they're going to calm down a bit. We'll still have moderate to high fire danger across those regions I just mentioned for today and tomorrow, but at least it's, a little better. Now, we are going to see precipitation become more widespread on Sunday across the state. As we take a look at the rain forecast Saturday night through Monday evening, we are starting to see an uptick in forecast rain totals now across, several regions of Texas. The potential for, let's just say, 1/4 to 1 inch of rainfall now expected Saturday night through Monday, but hopefully mostly Sunday. The Panhandle, West Texas, Northwest Texas, the Big Country, the Concho Valley, Texoma, North Texas, the Arklatex, the Edwards Plateau, the Coastal Plains. Across portions of the Hill Country, into Central Texas, the Brazos Valley, Southeast Texas, the Golden Triangle, we may see rainfall amounts between 1 to 3 inches of rain. Yeah, that made sense somewhere in my head. Now, typically that would not be enough to cause, flooding issues, but given the saturated soils and rivers that are running very high, there is an increased potential for at least some localized flooding potential as we get into Sunday across portions of Central Texas, the Brazos Valley, Southeast Texas, the Golden Triangle. Now, we're still talking, 4 to 5 days out, so things will change, but just a heads up, we may be dealing with some heavier rains again as we get into Sunday across areas that really don't need it and definitely have a heightened sensibility to additional rain at this point. So that'll be something we watch for. And again, that looks like to be our next opportunity for some heavier rains that could cause some renewed issues in the flooding department. Let's take a look at the forecast high temperatures over the next few days. Well, it's going to be hot today. Pretty much, it's going to be hot across the entire state. Not as bad up on I-40 north in the Panhandle, where it's going to be in the 70s to middle 80s. Everyone else, it's either going to be the upper 80s, it's going to be the 90s, or it's going to be up to nearly 108 degrees if you're down in the Rio Grande Plains and the Edwards Plateau. Humidity, quite high across the eastern half of the state today. We're going to see heat index values up to 108 in some locations. Now, tomorrow, cool front starts moving south. That's going to bring a drier air mass, at least in terms of, the very tropical-like dew point temperatures, which is really what gives us that super muggy high heat index, nasty feeling. So tomorrow afternoon, highs upper 60s around Dalhart in the northwest panhandle, 70s to right around the lower 80s, northern 30 to 40% of Texas, southern 2/3 of Texas. Yeah, it's going to be hot tomorrow. 90s and 100s. 108 in Laredo, 105 in Del Rio, 107 in McAllen. It'll be about 92 in Houston with a heat index probably near 105. It's going to be hot. But as we get into Friday, the cold front keeps moving south. Temperatures, highs, Friday afternoon, looking like 70s to low 80s, northern 2/3 of Texas, with upper 80s to middle 90s, southern third of Texas, which, again, still beats, 108 degrees. As we get into Saturday, guess what? Down into the 80s. Across the Rio Grande Plains, deep south Texas, about a 15 to 20 degree temperature drop compared to, say, tomorrow. We're going to be seeing highs mostly in the 70s and 80s on Saturday across the state of Texas. And then Sunday, we'll see high temperatures start warming back up across the western third of Texas, where highs may approach the low 90s in the Trans-Pecos and the Big Bend. The remainder of the state, generally in the 70s and 80s with increased precipitation chances. All right. That's going to be it for your Wednesday edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. Again, we could be getting active this afternoon into the middle evening hours, especially across portions of North Texas, Northeast Texas, the Arklatex. Again, storms will be slow moving, but they will be quite rowdy given the extreme amounts of instability in place. During the cool season, the winter months, we often deal with what we call high shear, low instability setups. Well, this one is a extreme instability and more modest wind shear, but still pretty favorable wind shear. So the storms will likely be producing some giant chunks of ice at times, damaging winds, and again, the potential for a low tornado threat. Same thing tomorrow, except probably a bit further south, at least with time, and hopefully tomorrow at least the tornado threat will remain very low, but hail sizes both today and tomorrow could be quite unpleasant. You can keep an eye on the sky with the free Texas Storm Chasers mobile app. Just search for Texas Storm Chasers where you download apps for your device. Interactive weather radar is your local weather forecast, your daily Texas weather roundups, and more. If needed, we'll have live severe weather coverage on most of the social media platforms we participate on, along with our mobile app and website. Late this afternoon and this evening, same thing for tomorrow. So we'll be keeping an eye on things, and we'll give you updates as needed throughout the day. Y'all have a great Wednesday. We'll chat with y'all later today. Have a good one. God bless.